Hello and welcome to day 29 of 40 Mantras, 40 Days Too. Our mantra for today goes out to the families, goes out to the friends, goes out to the coworkers, and the people who right now might be having a challenging time having conversation, and maybe there are family members or friends or coworkers with differing opinions about whatever the topic might be. I'm not going to be specific about it, but are there places in your life, people in your life, where you have had a relationship, you have a relationship perhaps for many years, perhaps for all your life in the case of family, and that relationship really means something to you, but you're perhaps feeling at odds with that person right now. You're having a difficult time with the conversation, or perhaps you're even not really talking at all. Our mantra for today speaks to that. It was inspired by this weekend. We had a family gathering this weekend with a table, around the table, people ranging from the age of 17 to the age of 80, all in one circle around this table having a conversation, and it was actually really cool. A lot of different backgrounds, some related by marriage, some related by friendship, some related by family ties from many years, but we were able to have a conversation, and my mom said there was no hair pulling, so that was good. And I thought that was kind of a funny expression, but kind of true right now. If we can take the hair pulling out of it, and if we can take the judgment out of it, which we'll talk a little bit about, then perhaps we can come into our mantra for today. We can open the discussion. That is our mantra for today. Open the discussion, open the discussion, open the discussion. The idea being that maybe we can take another run at having that conversation with our loved ones where perhaps we're not seeing eye to eye, and perhaps we can go into that discussion with a couple ground rules, and those being the main one, that everyone try to stay in a place of neutrality and stay out of judgment, stay out of forcing opinions on others, give a sacred, safe space, a free space in which to express opinions, but know that once you express your opinion, you let it go. It can still be in your heart, it can still be your opinion, your belief, your truth, but don't feel like you have to change the mind of every other person in that conversation in order for it to be a successful conversation. In order to open the discussion, the idea is that we start the conversation by opening the discussion. And perhaps we start the conversation and we keep it really brief, and everyone expresses themselves, and then we agree to go to our individual corners and part ways, integrate and digest and process whatever information we've taken in, and then come back and regroup later and continue the conversation at that point. But the idea of opening the discussion just allows us to create the container, create the space for ourselves in which to have these conversations in a safe space, in a space where people will not feel judged, and in a space where people will be able to freely express themselves. And hopefully family members, friends, coworkers, whoever it is that might be at odds, can find a way and a path to common ground. So think about it as you go about your day today, and look for your own opportunities to perhaps open the discussion, keeping in mind the idea of neutrality. And with neutrality, there are a couple of things that I like to watch out for. Just take what resonates with you of what I'm throwing out there and leave the rest. I'm not claiming to have all the answers by any means, but in order to stay in neutrality, I find it's helpful to avoid judgment And by avoiding judgment, there are a few things that judgment can bring up: complaining, blaming, shaming, comparing. All of those to me are forms of judgment. Complaining, blaming, shaming, comparing. Leave that out of the conversation, out of the discussion. Leave judgment out of the discussion and approach it with compassion. Approach it with acceptance. Approach it with forgiveness, and just allow the other person to speak. Come to the conversation ready to listen more than you talk, to seek to understand the other person's side of things. And you might find that once you get a little bit of common ground, that maybe you're not on different sides after all. Maybe you just needed to clarify for each other in order to understand better. And you can find that common ground and go from there for your next conversation, rather than just butting heads and or shutting down, which is, I think, a challenging thing for a lot of people right now. They're just maybe shut down and at a standstill. And with the holidays coming up, it might be nice to look at clearing the air, if it's possible. So take that out into your world today. The idea of opening the discussion, open the discussion, open the discussion, open the discussion. Come at it from a place of neutrality, a place of non-judgment, acceptance, compassion, and forgiveness. And most of all, a place of presence, because when we are present right here, right now, in the moment, we do a better job of listening to the other person. And, put yourself in the other person's shoes. That's kind of your compassion and acceptance. And see if you can't see it from their perspective and find that common ground and reopen that conversation. To be continued. Just get it started. Open the discussion. Drop me a comment. Let me know how it goes for you. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow.